What is up, fam? Welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. I'm your host, James Lariello, bringing you another amazing episode today with none other than Miss Rena Schwartz. Currently residing in Vermont. She's a Vermonter for the summer. Reena was most recently, you guys might remember that name very well. She just took the dub at the Mount Washington road race about 2 weeks back. And on top of that, got a top 5 finish at the U.S. Mountain Running Championship at the Sunapee Scramble back in early June. Reena's just like lived an entirely different life skiing in college for Dartmouth. And it was just so interesting to get to talk about that and talk about just the Nordic skiing life and just the difference between that and trail running, and how trail running is, as of right now, a hobby, but something she's considering taking a bit more seriously as she goes with all this crazy talent that she has. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this one. Reena is an amazing person to chat with. And just super inspiring with just how she approaches the sport. So without further ado, none other than Rena Schwartz.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Rena Schwartz, welcome to the Steep Stuff Podcast. How's it going?
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, super excited to have you on. I have to be honest with you. Like you were this mystery going into Sunapee. Like when we did our race picks, like we weren't really sure because you came on the scene, won Loon. Obviously you were this larger than life Nordic skier. And we weren't really sure like where you were gonna place. And then I was on the live stream, and you had this like amazing, insane race at Sunapee. So it was like, I have to have you on the podcast. And then as we were trying to figure this out, then you go and win. Mount Washington. So this was like really perfect timing to have you on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wasn't really sure where I was gonna place either, so we were in that together. Yeah.
How you? You must have rebounded pretty quick, because like only within a couple of weeks you go and race Mount Wash. Obviously that's all uphill, but still like well, let's track this from the beginning. Maybe how was Sunapee for you? Did you enjoy it? Have a good time? Like it's kind of a crazy race.
Yeah, I felt really strong. My goal, I guess, going into it was to be fierce on the downhills, and I think I did a really good job of that. I'm new to trail racing, I would say, not necessarily new to trail running. Did a lot of trail running for Nordic ski training in college, and just for fun. But the kind of running downhill fast part is not something that I was that used to. So I think I was like really targeting the downhill there, and that went well. So yeah, I was happy with it.
Like I said, it was amazing to follow along your race. I mean, it just like, I don't know, like you finished 5th. You were right there, right in the mix pretty much the entire time. It was against some of the best women in the world. Like those women are going to go on and probably hunt for gold medals at World Mountain Running Champs. So it's pretty cool that like you step into the sport, you're kind of new to it, and you're right there, like right in the mix, which is pretty. How did that feel to you, maybe?
Yeah, I guess I wasn't really thinking about making Team USA going into it. I'm not even sure if I knew that was like what the race was about when I signed up. I'm originally from Vermont, and it was like a race that was close by, and I knew I'd be going back to New England, so I signed up. And yeah, it was pretty cool to be among those women, and kind of, I feel like I was running with Courtney for a bit there, and she was like talking to me a little, and that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was really fun to be out there with all those strong women.
Yeah, it was an amazing performance. We could dive deeper into it as we get into it. I guess we'll probably talk a little bit more. It'll probably come up throughout the conversation. But for those who might not be aware of you, maybe give me like the 5-minute elevator pitch. Maybe talk about, give me some of the background on Nordic skiing, as well as like what you did with cross country as well. Because it's just interesting to me that you were able to kind of do both at such a high level.
Yeah, I guess I ran cross country in like high school, and track, and enjoyed doing that, but was more focused on skiing. And then decided to ski in college, and skied for Dartmouth for 4 years. Graduated in 2022, lived in Boston for a bit and wasn't really running that much. I guess it was just like pretty flat. And then moved to Boulder this past fall and started running a little more. Was doing a lot of kind of big mountain adventures and was finding that really fun. And then decided to hop in my first race since maybe like 2019 when I did Loon, this past spring, and I did the Horsetooth Half Marathon actually. And that was really fun. Yeah. And then I decided maybe I wanted to start racing a little bit more.
That's so interesting to me. So like you just kind of get bit by the bug after, kind of coming back to the sport. Like let's dive a little bit into like the skiing aspect of it, because I don't think listeners maybe understand, and maybe those really in the know, that like that background sets you up to be like some of the best runners in our sport came from cross country skiing backgrounds, like David Norris. I mean, quite a few of them. Like we saw what David Norris did at Sunapee. David Sinclair. There's quite a few. Maybe talk about like what that training is like, why that crosses over so well to trail running.
Yeah, it's really cool to see Nordic skiers crushing it in the trail running community. I guess it's just really a very demanding sport, but also one that makes you kind of think about training a lot and kind of the science behind it. And I guess mentally too, it's just kind of like a lot of hours and a lot of races. And so it makes you kind of focus on the mental side of sport as well, I guess. So I think that kind of can set people up for success moving into running. And then just kind of like the well-roundedness of skiing. Like you kind of have to work on being strong, being agile, but then also kind of, I guess, a huge part of it is also the endurance, and just being able to go for a long time and being able to pace yourself.
Could you talk a little bit about like maybe some, because I know you guys focus a lot on, obviously you kind of glossed on it, was hours, but also a lot of intensity, a lot of threshold, a lot of heart rate stuff. Were you doing more mostly like in the heart rates, like paying attention to heart rate zones, like heart rate training as a skier? Like how does that, because I feel like it seems like that's the matrix that I see a lot of runners adopt, and it tends to actually work out pretty well for them when they kind of adopt a more heart rate based training as opposed to just maybe just feel, if you will.
Yeah. So when I was like ski racing, I guess, I was counting hours versus miles, which is something that's different in the running community I've heard so far. I guess I don't really know exactly too much of the running stuff yet. Any kind of modality of training is training. So like running, skiing, biking, roller skiing, strength, I would count that all. I did use a heart rate monitor. We would test lactate. And I guess since stopping competitive skiing, at first I didn't really wear a watch at all when I was training, and I found that really freeing, actually. And even now I'd say like about once a week I go on a run and I don't wear a watch. And I think that's been a bit of like a release for me. Like it's like I'm doing this because I really want to do it. I really enjoy doing it. So I guess I've kind of transferred to doing a little less of the paying attention to stats like heart rate, and running a little bit more freely now, which I've been enjoying, and I think helps me listen to my body as well.
I think it's super smart. And I think it's just like I said, that crossover just works so well. I got to ask you this. Maybe can you talk about your time at Dartmouth? Obviously, it's this legendary university, one of the best, colleges in the world. What was it like going there, but also being a student athlete there? Like maybe talk about, what it was like skiing at a high level for, on the team there.
Yeah, I mean, the team is really a very, very special environment and like just a really special place. And I do feel very, very thankful that I got the opportunity to be part of that team. Um, Everyone on the team really lifts each other up in workouts, but also sees each other as humans outside of skiing as well. It can be really tough when you're all kind of seeing each other every day for most of a lot of the day, but also competing against each other. And I guess it just requires like a lot of communication and also just really getting to know each other. And I guess what ticks you or like what you enjoy, both of those things, knowing that about your teammates is really important. And that's something that I do miss a lot, being part of a team like that.
It's interesting. Is it like, so it's funny, like I talk to a lot of D1, a ton of D1 athletes, and a lot of them obviously come from the steeple. They're always on the track and their experiences might not be the best. Obviously collegiate running, some people have really good experiences, but a lot of it is more eating disorders and a lot of issues that come out of it. Is Nordic skiing like at all similar, or is it a very healthy environment? Like what is that kind of like at the collegiate level? Like, is it much different? Was it very positive for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that much about the running collegiate experience, but I mean, there are eating disorders in Nordic skiing too. And I think it's really team dependent. The community and kind of what the vibe is on the team. But I did have a very positive experience on the team in college. And I think that was also kind of helped along by the fact that I did have a female coach and one that was very conscious of kind of how we were all doing.
No, I think that's amazing. It's crazy. What was the goal? Like, did you like, was the goal to be an Olympian? Was the goal to just race collegiately? Like, especially like as a high schooler kind of going into college, like how did your goals change the route, and like, how did like that kind of work out for you?
Yeah, the funny thing is, I don't know if I ever thought like that long term about it. I knew I wanted to ski in college. And then once I was in college, I guess I was kind of just focused on the like very much in the present moment of skiing. And then senior year came around all of a sudden. And I broke my foot. I was kind of dealing with a broken foot through the winter of my senior year. It was actually still broken and I was racing on it. And that was a tough winter, as you can imagine. Yeah. And I was thinking about skiing after college and decided that I kind of wanted to explore some other parts in my life. And so actually didn't really feel like I could keep skiing and also live in Boston and work at the place I wanted to work at that time. And so I stopped skiing. Yeah.
Wow. Do you still like roller ski at all or play around with any of that? I just got into roller skiing, by the way, like in this past like winter-ish, because Colorado Springs is obviously, we don't get a ton of snow, and I'm obsessed. Like, it is so much fun.
Yeah.
You don't mess around with it at all, or?
So I coached the Boulder junior Nordic team, or this past fall and winter I did, and I'll roller ski with them. I'll roller ski with the kids, but I don't really roller ski by myself. I feel like I just have too many memories of almost crashing or just like being really hot and sweaty out there on the roller skis. And I'd much rather just go run in the mountains.
I think that's smart. I don't know. I feel like as a cross training modality, it can be fun. Although people like drive past me and they're like, "Who is this clown? Like, what is this guy doing?" Like,
yeah.
Like, I feel like we need more of a scene like in Colorado for roller skiing, in my opinion. But I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for cross training for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, big time. So I got to ask you, like, now that you've, like, obviously we'll talk about Mount Washington in a minute, because I think that's a really important thing to discuss and get into, but you've had a couple of like really solid results. I mean, 5th at the U.S. Mountain Running Championship is no joke. And then you go and win Mount Washington, which some of the greatest women, like uphill runners, have like Kim Dobson, like you're standing in the shadows of of giants that have like kind of come, through that race and done that. does it intrigue you now to maybe like want to be a professional in the sport, like, or like want to like try to pursue that at some point in time, or continue to build a race resume, or is it just something you want to do for fun? Like, how do you kind of approach that?
Yeah, there's definitely like a tiny whisper that says, try this, give it a go. Um, and I think I'm still kind of navigating where racing fits into my life right now. I'm in a master's in social work program, as I said before, that's pretty strenuous. 10 weeks of school in the summer, and then internship the rest of the year. And I think that I'm okay if running kind of like fluctuates in my life. If sometimes I'm racing a lot and sometimes I'm not racing as much. I mean, I would love some support in that. But I mean, the running world is kind of hard to crack from the outside. I'm not really sure. There's no like document that's like, this is how you do it. This is how you get sponsors. Like, this is how you do this full time. This is how you support yourself while doing this. This is how you could have a full time job while doing this. So, I mean, like, that's kind of, there's a fun part to that too. There's some creativity that's needed in order to figure out where it fits into my life. And I guess I'm like excited to continue to explore that.
I think it's a beautiful answer. And I think like you're so young in the sport that there's just like, you could do whatever you want, you know, like it's, you can kind of, as you go and as you develop and build your career outside of running, like you said, you can kind of figure out like, okay, well, how does running fit into this lifestyle? And do I want to have more of a professional life, or do I want to go, you know, potentially the route of a sponsored athlete, and what does that look like? And can I do both? So, and it's kind of cool. Like, I think we're seeing that more and more in the sport. Like, I think more so on the sub ultra side, you can see a lot of athletes that most of them have full-time jobs, more or less, a lot of them, and kind of do both. On the ultra side, you're starting to see more professionalization where people are just doing one thing. But I think, I think there's more opportunity to do both at the sub ultra level, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And I feel like that opportunity isn't really there as much in Nordic skiing, which is also great. Like, there aren't that many Nordic skiers that are pro, but also are kind of like working full-time jobs, or, that just kind of community, at least in the US, of people that aren't racing World Cups, but are still kind of very much US based, is pretty small. There aren't many supports set up for that. So it's cool to see that maybe in the trail running world there is.
Yeah, it's very like, you know, I don't know. I don't really know much about Nordic skiing, like as far as like sponsors go and how that specifically works. But maybe can you get into that? Like, what does a professional life look like outside for the Nordic skiing? Is it more specifically like just significantly less athletes and more so going international to race? I mean, is there a way to make a living doing it? Like, or is it a modest living? Like, it's hard to get by? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think there's a way to make a living doing it when you're maybe not winning World Cups. But I don't really know because I never skied after college. So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, it's interesting. So I always love.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into Mount Washington. I don't want to bury the lead there. You took the win this past weekend. It was really cool to, you know, obviously get to follow that race. Good friend of mine, actually a couple good friends of mine, Joe Gray and Remy LaRue were out there competing as well. So it was kind of fun to follow along. Obviously, they cut the race a little bit short this year. Maybe can you get into that? I don't know if a lot of the audience follows Mount Wash. Hopefully, we get a little bit more of a following as the years go on and we start to build more of a fan base for it. But like, maybe talk about like why they cut the race short a little bit this year, and then we can get into your experience.
Yeah, I'm not sure of too many of the details of it, but I guess so I drove like the 4 hours there Friday night, and I got an email that was like, the race is now going to be half the course. And I think it was because of like high winds and cold. Maybe there was some ice up there or something like that. And it does go to the top of Mount Washington, which has pretty extreme weather, maybe even like the most extreme weather in New England or something like that. And so the course was cut in half. It was only 3.6 or 3.7 miles, but still like quite a bit of elevation gain, like 2,000 something feet of elevation gain. So that definitely made it a bit of a different race. And I prepared for it a little differently too. Like had a bit of a longer warm up with a little more intensity. Um, and didn't even think about like eating anything during the race.
Okay. Did you
Yeah.
obviously fuel just before? Like, are you a gel person? Like, how did that go feeling going in?
I guess I don't have too much experience with fueling. I tried to have a gel during the Sunapee race,
Yeah.
and that was okay. Like I feel like I was kind of choking on it a little bit. Usually I feel like on like long runs or like big mountain adventures, I'm just like eating bars or like gummies. But yeah, I wouldn't, maybe if I were doing the full Washington race, I would try to have something during it. But this one was just really short. I mean, it only took like 32 minutes or something like that.
Super quick one.
Yeah.
How did the race play out? Were you challenged at all? Were you alone? Like, I didn't really follow too closely. I mean, I wish they had like more of like a live stream that you can like watch from like start to finish. I know it's something I got to work on, but like were you able to get a breakaway and just kind of hang in there and develop a gap, or how did it play out for you?
Yeah. So I'm pretty like new to this running races scene. So I wasn't really sure who the other people were on the starting line. So I didn't really know like how fast it was going to go. If people were going to try and like sprint the beginning because it's such a short race. So I kind of was just trying to hang in there around like uh second place, third place. And I think I primarily was in kind of second until like the last mile. And that's when I was like, oh, we're almost near the end. And tried to go a little harder. Yeah. And it was like, it's kind of a strange distance too. Like I wanted to go really hard, but didn't want to blow up because I feel like with all the vert, there is like the chance that even though it's short, like you definitely could blow up in that time. So yeah, I think we took it out pretty fast though up that first hill. And then it kind of felt like we were chilling for a bit. And then that's when I decided to take the lead.
Okay. And then when you crossed the finish line for the win, you must have been elated. Like, how does it feel? Like, I mean, regardless of a shortened course, like you're now a Mount Washington champion. Like, that's pretty awesome. Like, how does that feel for you?
Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty cool. Um, yeah, there was just such kind of like a scene there, like so many people on the side of the course cheering, and that made it really fun. And it is like I've heard about this race for a long time. Um, and so yeah, it was pretty cool to cross the finish line first.
It's amazing. All right. So, like, let's talk maybe a little bit. Like, is there anything bucket list for the summer you want to hit off? I know you're going to be spending a good amount of time in the Northeast, working on your master's program. Is there any like other Northeast races that you want to get to? I know you're talking about possibly doing Catamount this weekend. Like, what intrigues you now that you can kind of get out to and race up here?
Yeah, I mean, I think because I haven't done like that many different races, and like Sunapee was my first like up down race. I'm kind of excited for Cirque Series races because those are, I think, usually like
Up
up
down.
down
Yeah.
races. So maybe Killington. Um, yeah, I'll be headed back to Boulder in September and thinking about kind of focusing in on racing a bit more then once I'm done with kind of like this summer in school. Um, yeah, and then maybe some just like really long adventure fun runs. Like I think there's like the Four Pass Loop. Heard of that one? Like near Aspen.
Yeah.
Just kind of like getting out. I mean, like I'm an East Coast person. It's just so cool to be in those big mountains. So I'm really excited for maybe like a longer race too. Yeah, we'll see.
Super cool. I got to ask you the question. Like, now that you've obviously like grew up, lived in Vermont, and did the Vermont thing, you're back here now for the summer, but you've also spent some time in out west. Like, what do you like better?
That's a tough question. I mean, Vermont always has my heart. So I think that there's a clear winner.
Yeah.
But I mean, the big mountains are pretty hard to contend with. I mean, even just like skiing this winter, like I'd never really quite skied powder like that or like had such long runs. And that's like pretty cool. Um, that's very cool. Yeah. Um, yeah. And the access is pretty good too. I mean, living in Boulder, sometimes there's a bit of a drive, which can be kind of annoying. I do miss for sure though, especially in the winter, like the small kind of um, Vermont backcountry skiing where you like don't really see many people at all, or like there's like a very small community and everyone's just like so friendly with each other. Um, so I guess I miss that a little bit.
I feel like there's a like, especially in Vermont specifically, like it's like dime a dozen for ski resorts. Like they're everywhere. It's literally one on every corner. It's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
but they're tiny
Yeah, little.
compared to like the Colorado ones.
Oh yeah, the ones in Colorado
Yeah.
are bananas. Like how big they are. It's cool. I've been playing around up here. I just went to like a couple of small New York ones, and I'm gonna go to another one this weekend to like get ready for Killington in the in the Catskills. And yeah,
Nice.
they are really little. Like they are like just kind of tiny, but you could still get steep stuff. So I'm like, all right, this is it's not Colorado, but it's
Yeah.
it'll work. You know.
And there's something really special about the community they can build when they're kind of this little place and everyone kind of knows everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah. I got to ask you this. When you were, so in your time, like maybe before you learned about this whole trail running thing, like, did you do a lot of hiking? Did you explore like the greens and kind of go out to the White Mountains at all and kind of explore like Mount Wash and any of that? Or like, were you aware of like some of like what you could do with some of those big link ups?
Yeah, I grew up doing a lot of hiking. My parents actually met on trail crew. And then my dad worked at a hut in the White Mountains for a while. So my parents really love the White Mountains, and that kind of instilled in me this love for them as well. So I have been up Washington many times, not taking the paved auto road, but yeah, I've done few Prezi Traverses in there. And those mountains really like I love them. They're very beautiful, and yeah, so I grew up doing a lot of hiking. Um, and even like ski training, most of that is like honestly hiking. Like skiers, when they're going slow training, they're like going slow training. And so, yeah, you're hiking a lot. And I think that's probably a huge part of kind of the way I run today. Like even at Sunapee Scramble, I feel like I was hiking some things that some people were running. And I don't know if that like suited me well or not, but yeah, it's just kind of my style.
I mean, it definitely helps. Like you were moving pretty efficiently. So I don't know, something worked.
Yeah.
That's so cool. All right. So it just interests me because like a lot of times you talk to a lot of athletes, right? And like they're kind of like, they might not be adjacently aware of like the trail running scene itself, but like they grow up, you know, hiking or maybe mom and dad, like for you, for instance, like it makes a lot of sense. Like mom and dad were, you know, your dad was doing the hut thing and like, you know, and mom and dad were, you know, spending time outside. So it makes a lot of sense to see like kind of formative years and how people become who they are. So it's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to ask you this. So races, as you've become more aware of the sport, obviously not this year, but like you said, you seem to be very good at this up down thing, our more mountain classic distance. Outside of the Cirque series, is there anything that intrigues you? Any races that you've become aware of? Like, have you started looking into like what the Golden Trail series is and things like that? Are any of those intriguing to you?
Yeah, those are definitely intriguing to me. The thing is like um getting there, like
Yeah.
deciding that you want to train for something, training for it, and not just like going on random mountain adventures every weekend, but like intentionally training for something that like involves time, that involves money, that involves flexibility in your schedule. And then getting there too, like that can be a huge challenge. Um, but I guess I have eyes on some fall races potentially, but probably only ones in Colorado. Because to be honest, like
Yeah.
I don't really feel like paying for a flight to go somewhere to race when I know that I can support kind of like the local community and around me by racing the races that are close by. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's a very good way to approach it, especially being very, you know, just kind of new to it. It makes absolute sense. I saw, so Andy was kind of hyping you up. I saw that, you know, you were wearing, I think it was a trail team kit. Are you working with the trail team now or like with them, like at the community level? Like how does that work for you?
Yeah. So when I got to Boulder this fall, or this past fall, I ran with them a few times, and then I was kind of like focused on skiing in the winter and wasn't really running. And then in the spring, I started kind of training with them once a week, just with the Boulder. There's like a big group of people from Boulder that run with them, and that's been really great just to have kind of a community to do workouts with. Because I probably wouldn't really integrate many workouts into my schedule. It would probably just be like all long like adventures. So it's been great to kind of like get on a track with them and see what that's like. I mean, like I haven't really been on a track since high school. Yeah, so that's been huge to have kind of a group to train with. I'm not on the elite team though. I'm just kind of training with them.
I like it. Let me ask you this about Boulder. This is necessarily like not necessarily a part of the trail team thing, but like, do you think is Colorado somewhere you think you'll stay long term, or do you think you'd go back out east?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going back in September and I'll be there for another year, for another internship year. After that, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I've really been enjoying my time there, so I guess we'll kind of see.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like people either love it or they hate it. It's like and more people love it than anything. It's kind of interesting to see what people think of it. Well, listen, Reena, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And this was a great conversation. I'm super excited that I was able to have you on after Sunapee, and it was even more of a cherry on top that the Mount Washington thing worked out. So super cool that we were able to do this. I hope that we have like many more conversations down the line, especially as you grow with your career. And I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Maybe I'll see you at Killington.
Absolutely. Count on it. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks. What'd you guys think? Oh man, what a great episode. I want to thank Reena so much for coming on the podcast to have a quick chat. Hoping to have Reena back on as her career progresses and can do a more longer form interview and just have a longer discussion. So really want to appreciate Reena for coming on. Guys, you can find her. That's going to be on Instagram. Give her a follow. You can find her at Reena. That's going to be Reena, RENA.S22. On Instagram. Give her a follow. Let her know what you guys thought about the episode, and just send her well wishes as she, continues to just progress in the sport. I'm sure she'd really appreciate it. So, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple, Spotify, Podcast, or wherever you consume your pods. It has been a crazy few weeks with Sunapee followed by Broken Arrow. So we're going to be taking a couple day break. I'm going to enjoy I've got a race coming up, which is going to be super exciting. We'll see how that goes. And just going to be enjoying some of the Northeast, the White Mountains, and what's to be offered up there before making it back to Colorado. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and really appreciate you for tuning in. Take care. Listen up, guys. The Steep Stuff podcast is brought to you by Ultimate Direction USA. Guys, I am so excited. UD just dropped their new Race Vest 6-liter and Ultra Vest 12-liter in 2 beautiful aesthetic colors. You guys got to check these new vests out. They're dynamic in ways like that you just have never seen from an Ultimate Direction vest. Very stretchy, lots of storage, beautiful aesthetic colorways coming to you in a new, like a white and blue and an onyx and green. Just absolutely beautiful vests. I think these ones are just like some of the best products we've ever dropped, and I'm so excited for you guys to try them out. Hop on ultimatedirection.com and use code SteepStuffPod. Again, that's SteepStuffPod for 25% off your new vest. I mean, they're already affordably priced, but 25% off is just going to make it so much more affordable for folks in an already increasingly expensive trail running environment. So hop on ultimatedirection.com, get yourself a new vest, a pack, or any hydration solution, and let me know what you guys think.